On July 20th, 1969, the world stopped to watch a grainy black and white broadcast unlike anything humanity had ever seen. A human being stepped onto the surface of the moon. Neil Armstrong's words echoed across the planet. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. For millions, it was a defining moment of human achievement. For others, it was the beginning of one of the most enduring conspiracy theories in modern history. The moon landing conspiracy suggests that NASA never actually sent astronauts to the moon, and that the Apollo missions were staged, filmed, or manipulated to win the Cold War space race against the Soviet Union. This idea didn't explode immediately, but slowly grew over the decades as technology advanced, trust in government declined, and unanswered questions fueled suspicion. The conspiracy gained momentum in the 1970s, particularly after the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal eroded public confidence in official narratives. If governments could lie about war and politics, some began asking, could they lie about space? One of the most frequently cited claims involves the American flag seen waving in photographs from the moon. Critics argue that since there is no atmosphere on the moon, the flag should not move. Supporters of NASA counter that the flag's motion came from a horizontal support rod and vibrations from being planted into the lunar soil, motion that simply lingered due to the lack of air resistance. Another popular claim focuses on shadows in lunar photographs. Skeptics point out that shadows appear to fall in different directions, suggesting multiple light sources, similar to what would be expected on a film set. NASA explains that uneven lunar terrain and a single strong light source, the sun, can easily create this effect, especially when photographed with wide-angle lenses. Then there's the question of radiation. The Apollo astronauts had to pass through the Van Allen radiation belt surrounding Earth. Critics argue that the radiation levels would have been deadly. NASA maintains that the spacecraft passed through the belts quickly and at angles that minimized exposure, keeping radiation doses within survivable limits. Perhaps one of the most compelling talking points is technological. How did humans reach the moon in 1969 with computers less powerful than today's smartphones? Believers of the conspiracy argue that such a feat would be impossible with the technology of the time. Historians respond that while the computers were primitive by modern standards, the engineering relied heavily on human calculation, analog systems, redundancy, and massive industrial resources dedicated solely to the Apollo program. A fun and often repeated claim is that famed filmmaker Stanley Kubrick secretly directed the moon landing footage after completing 2001, A Space Odyssey in 1968. While entertaining, no credible evidence has ever emerged to support this idea, and Kubrick himself repeatedly denied involvement. Despite the skepticism, over 400,000 engineers, scientists, and technicians worked on the Apollo program. Moon rocks brought back by astronauts have been studied worldwide, including by scientists in rival nations. Retroreflectors placed on the moon during Apollo missions are still used today to measure the Earth-Moon distance with lasers. Yet, the conspiracy persists. Why? Psychologists suggest that conspiracy theories often thrive because they give people a sense of control, special knowledge, or belonging. Believing that you know the truth can feel empowering, especially in a world where information is complex and authority is questioned. More than 50 years later, the moon landing remains both one of humanity's proudest achievements and one of its most debated moments. Whether seen as undeniable proof of human ingenuity or as the ultimate deception, the moon landing conspiracy continues to captivate imaginations across generations. And perhaps that's the real story. Because sometimes the mystery isn't just about what happened on the moon. It's about why we still question it today.